Tonight, the internet is on fire with a story so intense, so confusing, and so unreal that no one can tell what is fact and what is fiction. Candace Owens just went head-to-head with Ben Shapiro in what many are calling one of the fiercest confrontations in right-wing media history. But just when the tension reached its peak, a shocking twist changed everything. Whispers started flooding across social media claiming that Charlie Kirk had vanished. Yes, you heard that right. The founder of Turning Point USA reportedly disappeared under mysterious circumstances. And according to online chatter, it was not something natural. The phrase "they made Charlie disappear" started trending everywhere, lighting up timelines and igniting endless theories. People demanded answers, calling out those closest to him, desperate to know what really happened behind closed doors. Candace, never one to bite her tongue, added fuel to the fire with her cryptic tone and razor-sharp words. Her voice dropped low, her stare cut through the silence, and she said, "You think this is just a coincidence? You think Charlie just disappeared? No, Ben, you know what is going on." The tension in that moment was electric. You could feel it through the screen. Ben Shapiro was left speechless. From that point on, everything shifted. No one knew what was real, what was rumor, or what was somewhere in between. But one thing became clear. The story of Charlie Kirk had transformed from speculation into a full-blown mystery, gripping the entire world. Twitter exploded in chaos with hashtags like #TheSilenceDarkLeak and #CandaceVSBen dominating every feed. Now, new ones like #TruthExposed have taken over global timelines. Clips of Candace's fiery confrontation flooded TikTok, X, and Instagram, with everyone asking the same haunting question: who is they? The internet is in a frenzy, wondering if Candace Owens just dropped the boldest revelation of her career, or if she unknowingly placed herself in the crosshairs of the very powers she is calling out. Because if Charlie Kirk truly vanished under strange circumstances, that tense face-off between Candace and Ben Shapiro may be only the beginning of something much bigger, something deeper, darker, and far more unpredictable. This was not just another heated debate. It was a political earthquake shaking every corner of social media. When Candace spoke, her words did not just trend, they froze people in place. What she said hinted at something the world was not ready to confront, something that felt almost forbidden to say out loud. To understand how this moment spiraled into a global firestorm, we have to go back to where it all began, to when Candace, Ben, and Charlie first stepped into the same circle of power. Their alliance always looked solid from the outside, but cracks were forming long before the cameras ever caught them. Candace Owens, once labeled the unstoppable spark, was not always the conservative icon we see today. She began as a liberal blogger before flipping the script completely, becoming one of the most fearless, raw, and unapologetic conservative voices in America. Candace never cared about being polite or careful. She was all fire and no filter. She spoke with conviction, passion, and zero hesitation, ready to burn every bridge that stood in her way. Now, with this new storm surrounding her, that same flame burns hotter than ever, melting away the polished mask of politics and leaving the world asking one haunting question: is Candace Owens exposing the truth, or playing a dangerous game she cannot control? And that is exactly why millions still rally behind her. Because whether people love her or hate her, Candace Owens is fearless, loud, and unstoppable. She has gone toe-to-toe with celebrities, politicians, and even her own allies behind closed doors. Insiders whisper that Candace is too wild for the old conservative order, yet too influential to ever silence. She has captured a generation that mainstream voices cannot reach, a younger, frustrated crowd that sees her as the spark that refuses to fade. Tonight, the internet is ablaze with a story so intense, so chaotic, and so unreal that no one can tell what is fact and what is fantasy. Candace Owens has just gone head-to-head with Ben Shapiro in what many are calling one of the most explosive confrontations in right-wing media history. But right as the argument reached its boiling point, an unexpected twist sent shockwaves across every platform. Whispers began flooding social media, claiming that Charlie Kirk had vanished. Yes, the founder of Turning Point USA was reportedly gone under circumstances that felt anything but natural. The phrase "they made Charlie disappear" exploded online, lighting up feeds and sparking endless theories. People demanded answers, calling out his inner circle, desperate to know what really happened behind closed doors. And Candace, never one to stay silent, threw gasoline on the fire with her chilling tone and piercing words. Her voice dropped, her stare locked in, and she said, "You think this is just a coincidence? You think Charlie just disappeared? No, Ben, you know what is going on." The air went still. The tension was so heavy you could feel it through the screen. Ben Shapiro froze, silent, stunned. From that moment forward, everything changed. Facts blurred with rumors, truth tangled with speculation, and a simple debate turned into a full-blown global mystery. Twitter erupted in chaos with hashtags like #TheSilenceCharlieKirk and #CandaceVSBen dominating every timeline. Soon after, #TruthExposed took over the world's feeds, as millions demanded to know who or what was behind it all. Clips of Candace's fiery confrontation flooded TikTok, X, and Instagram, as one haunting question echoed across every corner of the internet: who is they? Was Candace Owens exposing the boldest truth of her career? Or had she unknowingly stepped into the crosshairs of the very power she was calling out? Because if Charlie Kirk truly vanished under strange circumstances, then that face-off with Ben Shapiro might have been more than a clash. It could be the spark that lit something far darker, deeper, and impossible to predict. This was not a simple debate. It was a political earthquake, shaking every corner of social media. When Candace spoke, her words did not just trend, they froze the internet in its tracks. What she hinted at felt like something the world was never meant to hear. Something too dangerous to speak out loud. To understand how it all spiraled this far, we have to go back to when Candace, Ben, and Charlie first entered the same inner circle of influence. From the outside, their alliance looked unbreakable, but behind the smiles and speeches, cracks were forming long before the cameras ever caught them. Candace Owens, once seen as the unstoppable spark of a new movement, was not always the conservative powerhouse she is today. She began as a liberal blogger before flipping the narrative entirely, rising as one of the most outspoken, raw, and unapologetic conservative voices in America. Candace never played it safe. She was fire without a filter, passionate, defiant, and unafraid to torch any bridge that stood in her way. Now, with this new storm surrounding her, that same fire burns brighter than ever, melting away the polished mask of politics and leaving the world asking one haunting question: is Candace Owens revealing the truth, or playing a dangerous game she cannot control? And that is exactly why millions still stand behind her. Love her or hate her, Candace Owens is fearless, relentless, and impossible to silence. She has gone toe-to-toe with celebrities, politicians, and even her own allies. Insiders whisper that she is too unpredictable for the old conservative order, yet far too powerful to be pushed aside. She has gripped a younger, frustrated generation that mainstream voices cannot reach. A generation that sees her not just as a commentator, but as a spark that refuses to die out. It was no longer a debate. It had turned into a public accusation. Candace was not just calling out Ben Shapiro, she was pointing to something much larger. Her words suggested that Charlie Kirk's strange disappearance was not a scandal, a retreat, or some quiet break. She hinted it was deliberate, a silencing carried out by higher powers that did not want the truth to surface. If that is true, then the alliance between Candace, Ben, and Charlie was never about unity. It was about control. This was not politics anymore, it was survival inside a system built on contradictions and secret deals. The moment Candace dropped those words, the entire room froze. You could hear a pin drop. It was not a sharp clapback or a viral soundbite, it was a shockwave that ripped straight through the conservative world. Even Ben Shapiro, known for his quick-fire comebacks, was left speechless. And that silence said more than words ever could. Witnesses later said Candace and Ben clashed right there on stage. The exchange was not just heated, it was explosive, circling around loyalty, power, and trust. For the first time, Ben's calm, polished demeanor cracked. His face tightened, his jaw locked, and his eyes darted toward the cameras, like he was calculating every second. Then, with his trademark smirk, he finally spoke. Candace, this is ridiculous. Charlie Kirk is fine. You're spreading false rumors, and honestly, it's only hurting your credibility. But instead of cooling things down, Ben's response poured gasoline on the fire. Viewers immediately noticed something he never actually denied: what Candace implied. That single detail made the mystery explode even more. Was he protecting himself or protecting someone else? The tension was unbearable. The crowd split in half. One side booed Candace, accusing her of going too far, while the other side erupted in applause, praising her for saying what no one else dared to say. Then, from somewhere in the audience, a chant started rising: "Where is Charlie? Where is Charlie?" The sound grew louder, echoing through the venue like thunder. Security rushed in as chaos broke out, but cameras kept rolling. Every second was captured and uploaded within minutes. By the time the event ended, #WhereIsCharlieKirk was trending worldwide. TikTok and X flooded with clips titled "Candace Owens just exposed Ben Shapiro live." Fans dissected every frame, every glance, every pause, convinced there was more to the story than anyone was admitting. But the strangest part of all, Charlie Kirk himself said nothing for weeks. There was silence. No posts, no interviews, no turning point events, nothing. For a man who practically lived online, his sudden absence felt wrong. Fans noticed immediately and started digging. They resurfaced old photos of Charlie with major donors and powerful figures, whispering that maybe, just maybe, he had stumbled too close to secrets never meant for public eyes. Then the internet storm truly began. Channels like Truth Uncovered and Exposed Files jumped on a wild theory. They silenced him. They claimed Charlie had not vanished, he had been shut down. The theory spread like wildfire. Every new post added fuel, turning what started as a heated debate into a full-scale digital inferno. The question echoing everywhere was simple: where is Charlie Kirk? Some said he was in hiding for his own safety. Others believed he had been forced into silence by the same forces he once defended. Then came the first shocking twist: the leaked messages. Screenshots began circulating online, allegedly showing a conversation between Candace Owens and a contact saved as CK in the messages. Candace reportedly warned, "After me. You need to get out of there before it's too late." The reply, supposedly from CK, sent chills through everyone who read it. "I can't. They'll find me." You have no idea how serious this is. Within hours, the account that posted the screenshots vanished, deleted without explanation. But the internet had already gone into overdrive. Was Charlie trapped in something much bigger than anyone imagined? Theories exploded across every platform. What began as a debate now looked like a political thriller unfolding in real time. And then, the spotlight shifted to Ben Shapiro. Old clips resurfaced, moments where Ben looked uneasy, dodging certain questions, now going viral under captions like "Ben knows something." And the puppet master, memes spread fast, Ben pulling the strings, Ben behind the curtain, Ben silencing Charlie. And suddenly, The question was no longer just where's Charlie? It was what does Ben know? Even longtime conservatives started asking hard questions. If Ben is so sure Charlie's fine, then why not prove it? And why hasn't Turning Point USA said a single word? That silence turned deafening. The longer Ben and the organization stayed quiet, the more people became convinced that something deeper was going on. Then, late one night, things got darker. A second twist hit. An anonymous account called it Shadow Lake posted a bone-chilling message. Charlie tried to expose them, but failed. If Candace keeps going, she's next. Attached was a blurry photo that seemed to show someone who looked like Charlie Kirk being led into a black SUV by two men in suits. Within minutes, the post spread everywhere before being mysteriously deleted. But the damage was already done. The internet had its next obsession, and the mystery surrounding Charlie Kirk's disappearance had officially taken a terrifying turn. The image was grainy and impossible to confirm, but none of that mattered. Online detectives, bloggers, and self-proclaimed insiders went into overdrive, zooming in on shadows, matching faces, and debating every pixel. Some swore it was staged, others insisted it was real, but everyone agreed on one thing. Candace Owens' words were no longer just a rant. They were a warning dot by now. The story had completely exploded. Comment sections were packed, group chats were lighting up, and hashtags were spiraling out of control. People everywhere were asking, did Candace Owens accidentally expose something massive? Was she hinting that Charlie Kirk had been silenced by someone far more powerful? And if that SUV photo was real, where was Charlie now? Candace's words seemed to crack open a truth people were too scared to face. From the moment she spoke, everything unraveled. Rumors, leaks, betrayal, and a media storm that just kept getting louder. Then came another jaw-dropping twist. A mysterious audio recording surfaced. An anonymous account uploaded what they claimed was a private call between Candace and Charlie himself. In the clip, a muffled male voice, sounding eerily like Charlie, whispered, "Candace, I'm worried. If I tell, it'll all be over. You don't know who we're dealing with." Then a calm but cold female voice, allegedly Candace's, replied, "Then why call me? You knew they'd come after me." The audio cut off right there. No ending, no context, just silence. Some thought it was AI generated, but millions believed it was real. To them, this was the final proof that Charlie Kirk was in danger, and Candace Owens was risking everything to expose it. Social media went up in flames again, with people replaying the clip and dissecting every second. Then Ben Shapiro jumped in, posting a short video calling the entire story a baseless conspiracy. He dismissed the audio as fake and said the internet had gone too far. But his tone was cold, his answers vague, and too many. He looked nervous. As one viral tweet put it, Ben can say anything he wants, except where Charlie actually is. Even big conservative voices began to question him. One popular account, at TruthSeeker92, claimed Ben wasn't just a bystander anymore. He was a gatekeeper protecting powerful donors and the people pulling strings behind the curtain. Panic spread through conservative circles. Fans were demanding proof of life, begging for a photo or statement to show Charlie was safe. But Turning Point USA's account stayed quiet, posting nothing but generic motivational quotes while avoiding any mention of their missing founder. That silence spoke volumes. Soon, the story jumped from politics into pop culture. Kanye West posted a cryptic message saying, "They always go after the ones who know too much. First Charlie, who's next?" Andrew Tate released a video claiming Charlie's disappearance was part of a global agenda, and Elon Musk simply tweeted, "Where's Charlie?" 3 words that made the hashtag trend worldwide within hours. The mainstream media tried to shut it down, labeling everything a wild conspiracy theory. But the more they denied it, the more people believed something was being covered up. Every official statement only added fuel to the fire. Then came another shocker. An anonymous message, allegedly from a Turning Point USA employee, was sent to the press. It read, "Charlie hasn't shown up in weeks. Management told us not to ask questions." Everyone was terrified now. Candace clearly knew more than she was letting on. That single post went viral instantly, turning casual curiosity into full-blown obsession. Then came another shocker, a leaked, internally mail titled Charlie Kirk's Secret Legacy Fund outlined what appeared to be Turning Point USA's continuance of operations plan, making the public believe the organization had already been preparing for something catastrophic. The email never used the word gone. The message was clear enough to spark panic. Why talk about a legacy fund if Charlie was perfectly fine? Turning Point USA scrambled to do damage control, calling it a hoax. But the screenshots spread like wildfire across X, TikTok, Reddit, and Telegram. And right in the middle of the frenzy, Candace Owens appeared on Instagram Live. Her tone was sharp, her face steady. "I know what I'm talking about," she said. "Charlie is my friend. He told me things that got him in trouble. And if you think Ben doesn't know, you're fooling yourself." She gave no proof. But her conviction was enough to send social media into another meltdown. Every corner of the internet erupted with new theories and blurry screenshots. Then, another anonymous post hit for Chan, showing what looked like a photo from a hospital. A man resembling Charlie Kirk lying in a bed. The caption said only 2 words, "He's gone." Those words hit like a tidal wave. No one could prove if the photo was real or AI-generated, but that did not stop the chaos. Within hours, the internet split into 2 camps, Charlie is gone versus Charlie is alive. The tension was unbearable, and through it all, Ben Shapiro stayed silent. No denials, no confirmations, just silence. That single decision made everything worse. fueling the question echoing across every platform: is Charlie Kirk alive? Or has he been permanently silenced? If Candace was telling the truth, this was not a feud anymore. It was a political earthquake that could shatter the entire conservative movement. What began as a fiery debate had turned into one of the most explosive digital dramas of the decade. The memes were relentless. Charlie's face appeared on fake milk cartons. Ben was photoshopped into Puppet Master posters. Candace was reimagined as the whistleblower. Even Turning Point staff were dragged into it. Insiders claimed donors were panicking, demanding proof Charlie was okay. While employees were told to stay quiet and act normal, the division grew deeper by the hour. Some conservatives backed Candace fully, saying if they can make Charlie vanish, none of us are safe. Others called her a traitor, accusing her of tearing the movement apart. But the story reached a whole new level when Hollywood jumped in. Kanye West posted, "Charlie told me things they don't want us to live long enough to repeat." That single message sent shockwaves everywhere. Commenters flooded his replies, asking, why not just say he's fine? What are they hiding? And just when things seemed to hit their peak, Azealia Banks entered the chaos with a sarcastic viral tweet that pushed the frenzy even further off the rails. By now, the internet wasn't just watching a mystery, it was living inside one. The question roared louder than ever: where is Charlie Kirk? Conservatives were turning on each other, and the internet was eating it up. Oh my gosh, pass the popcorn, one user joked as the story reached soap opera levels. Even late-night hosts joined in. One joked, "Candace says Charlie's gone. Ben says he's fine. I don't know who to believe." But this is the juiciest political drama of the year. The crowd roared. But behind the laughter, the tension was real soon. The political shockwaves hit Washington. Reporters began ambushing lawmakers with the same question: have you spoken to Charlie Kirk? Most dodged it, muttering that they believed he was fine, but none offered proof. Democrats seized the moment, mocking. First they said the election was stolen. Now they say Charlie Kirk was stolen. Guess the season final's coming soon. But beneath the jokes, even critics sensed something strange was happening. Political insiders whispered that this was no longer online gossip, it was a full-blown crisis. Charlie Kirk wasn't just a pundit. He was a bridge connecting younger conservatives to the larger political machine. If that bridge crumbled, the movement could lose its future overnight. And in the center of it all stood Ben Shapiro, now painted as the villain. Clips of him clashing with Candace were replayed millions of times. And what once came off as calm confidence now looked cold and calculated. Comment sections swarmed with accusations. Ben knows something. He's protecting donors. He and Charlie fought, and Candace is paying the price. The conservative world was a war. Forums, podcasts, and media outlets were split. Team Candace or Team Ben. Every time Ben tried to move on and post his usual content, the internet shouted back the same question: where's Charlie? By now, people didn't want statements. They wanted proof, a photo, a video, anything. But with every silent day, the mystery only deepened. Rumors multiplied. Fake screenshots spread. Anonymous leaks kept showing up, twisting the story further. And then, without warning, Candace Owens sent out a single tweet that lit the internet on fire again. Ben can spin his words. TPUSA can hide. The media can laugh. But the truth is coming, and when it's out, you'll understand why Charlie left. Hundreds of thousands of likes, reposts, and comments poured in as people tried to decode what she meant. Was Candace dropping another clue? Was she hinting that something even bigger was about to explode? One thing was certain: whatever she was planning next, this story was far from over. The internet went into overdrive, buzzing with speculation and chaos. Did Candace actually have proof? Was she preparing to expose something massive? Or was this the desperate fight of someone cornered by forces far beyond her control? No matter where the truth lay, one thing was undeniable. Candace Owens had cracked open the conservative world in a way no one had seen before. And whether Charlie Kirk was alive, missing, or simply hiding, the fallout was only beginning. Late one night, Candace went live. No studio, no bright lights, just her face illuminated by a dim glow. Her voice, once sharp and defiant, now carried exhaustion and fire all at once. They think they can write Charlie off. Pretend nothing happened. But I won't be silent, because if I'm silent, I'm next. And you know who they are. That last line hit like lightning. Within minutes, the hashtag who were they was trending worldwide as millions tried to decipher who she was talking about. Then, as if on cue, another leak hit the internet. This time from an anonymous account that dropped what looked like internal documents, allegedly linking Turning Point USA donors to secret shell companies and offshore foundations. One blurry page even showed what appeared to be Charlie Kirk's signature on an international confidentiality agreement. The files could not be verified, but that did not matter. The image went viral instantly, reigniting theories that Charlie wasn't silent by choice. He was being silenced. Was Charlie trapped in a web of power too deep to escape? Or was he trying to break free from the empire he helped build? The questions kept piling up, and the chaos refused to slow down. Finally, after weeks of speculation, Ben Shapiro broke his silence on his podcast. His tone was firm, but his eyes looked heavy, worn out. Candace Owens is spreading lies that simply aren't true, he said flatly. But it was his next line that set the internet on fire. Charlie Kirk is safe. He just can't speak right now. And that's all I can say. Those 6 words, that's all I can say, detonated across the internet. If Charlie was safe, why couldn't he speak? Why hadn't anyone seen him? Why wasn't there a selfie, a video, a simple tweet? Fans didn't buy it. They saw Ben's statement as a slip, an unintentional confession that confirmed their worst fears. And just when things couldn't get any wilder, Candace Owens struck again. She posted a single image that broke the internet. The caption read, "Check the footage." Attached was a low-quality, grainy photo that looked like a frame from a security camera. It showed a man resembling Charlie Kirk surrounded by several men in dark suits in what looked like an underground parking lot. Her caption under the image said, "Last time I saw him." That one sentence froze social media. Within minutes, the post was deleted, but it was too late. Millions had already seen it, saved it, and reposted it everywhere. Influencers, podcasters, and conspiracy pages dissected it frame by frame. Was Charlie under surveillance? Was he being detained by the very forces he once defended? Or was this Candace's final warning before she vanished too? The conservative world erupted into chaos. Comment sections filled with panic and anger. Theories multiplied by the hour. Had Charlie become a whistleblower? Was Candace next? Was Ben protecting the truth, or covering something far darker? The internet burned with one haunting question: what really happened to Charlie Kirk? And who's next? By now, this wasn't just politics. It had become something much bigger, a full-blown storm where power, loyalty, and fear collided in silence. What started as a heated argument between Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro had spiraled into one of the darkest mysteries the internet had ever seen. Is Charlie Kirk alive? Or has he been silenced by the very system he helped build? The leaks, the eerie photos, the mysterious emails, and Ben's vague response, "That's all I can say," had become scattered puzzle pieces of a story too big to ignore. None of it added up. And maybe that was the point. Candace's chilling words, they silenced him, now echoed through every podcast, live stream, and forum. Everyone was asking the same thing: what's real and what's distraction? But now, it's your turn. Do you believe Charlie Kirk is really gone? Or is this all a smokescreen hiding something even bigger? Is Candace Owens risking everything to tell the truth? Or has she been set up by the very forces she's fighting? And what about Ben Shapiro? Is his silence proof of guilt, or a sign he's caught in the middle of something far beyond his control? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Whose side are you on? And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this story is nowhere near finished. If Candace releases that footage, or if Charlie suddenly reappears, you'll want to see it unfold live.